What if I told you that some of the most shocking artifacts in American history were never destroyed? They were hidden, not in secret caves, not underground, but inside museums, archives, and storage rooms. But the public almost never sees, because these artifacts don't just challenge history, they rewrite it. Tonight, we are looking at discoveries that don't fit the timeline, don't fit the textbooks, and make historians very uncomfortable. And before anyone panics, no, this isn't about aliens. It's about something far more disturbing. What if America's past is far older and far stranger than we are told? Let's begin. Here's something most people don't realize. History isn't just discovered, it's filtered. When archaeologists find something, it goes through questions like: does this fit what we already believe? Can we explain it easily? Will it cause controversy? If the answer is no, the artifact isn't always displayed. Sometimes it's labeled an anomaly. Sometimes it's quietly stored away, not destroyed, just forgotten. And that's where things get interesting. Across America, artifacts have been found and that raise serious questions. Stone tools dated far earlier than expected. Symbols carved into rocks that resemble old world languages. Artifacts found in layers of earth that don't match the accepted timeline. Now, to be clear, mainstream historians often debate these findings, and that's fair. But here's the strangest part. Why do so of these artifacts end up out of public view? If they are mistakes, why hide them? Here's a secret most museums won't advertise. For every artifact you see on display, there are thousands you don't. Stored in basements, archives, log shelves. Some researchers estimate over 90% of artifacts are never displayed, and among those stored items are objects labeled unclassified, unverified, and context unclear. That's historian language for this doesn't fit the story. Some of the most controversial artifacts are maps. Maps that appear to show coastlines accurately before modern surviving. Lands that supposedly were not known. Details that shouldn't exist for their time period. Now, historians debate whether these maps were copied, guessed, or exaggerated. But the mystery remains: copied from what? Maps don't appear out of imagination. They are drawn from knowledge, and knowledge comes from someone who saw something. The accepted timeline of American history is neat and clean, too clean. But real history is messy. The civilizations rise, fall, leave fragments behind. And fragments are dangerous because they raise questions. If America had older cultures that we believed, more advanced knowledge than expected, contact we don't fully understand, then history books don't just need updates, they need rewriting. And rewriting history is expensive, embarrassing, and controversial. Let's be honest. If you were a historian and found an artifact that broke everything you were taught, your first thought wouldn't be, wow, I should risk my whole life for this. It would be, maybe I will put back on this shelf for now. History isn't censored by villains in black cloaks. Sometimes it's censored by funding, reputation, and silence. Here's the responsible truth. There's no single group controlling history, no shadow council, but there is a system that rewards familiar explanation, safe conclusions, comfortable timelines. Anything that threatens that system gets ignored, and ignored long enough becomes invisible. But here's where the story gets even darker, because some ancient sites in America were not just ignored, they were built over, restricted, or left unexcavated on purpose. Places where digging stopped, not because there was nothing, but because there was too much. In my next video, we are going to explore those sites, places you are allowed to see but not allowed to understand, because the land remembers even when history forgets.